Hello everyone, and thank you for attending this session. So I'm Antoine Thébaud, I'm a senior software engineer at Amadeus, working on observability topics since quite some years now. And today I'm here to present you this presentation about how to manage thousands of dashboards easily, and basically using Perseus tool with its dashboard as code framework. So first, what is Perseus? You may not be aware about it. It's a quite new tool. So actually, it's an observability visualization tool, and you have an overview of it on the right side. So yeah, if ever you are familiar with Grafana, it's pretty much the same UX. You have drop downs at the top, so that we call variables, to select the objects that you want to see the metrics, traces, logs of. And then you have the visualizations displayed below, and all kinds of visualizations. So it's an Apache 2 license project, and recently got accepted as part of the CNCF landscape in the sandbox stage. So this is developed by several companies, so Amadeus we are part of, but also Red Hat, Chronosphere, etc. And it's getting some traction lately. And so yeah, that's great. We are happy about it, and we hope that it will continue on that road. So with Perseus, there are, let's say, main goals that we want to achieve. So first, we really want Perseus to become, let's say, the de facto standard visualization tool for Prometheus metrics, especially, but we also support template traces. So that's it for now, but yeah, so we have logs also coming, and we want to support, of course, more data sources in the future. It's embeddable in the sense that Perseus comes in different packages, and in your own application, you can embed things like, let's say, as small as a simple panel, a simple graph, to a whole dashboard view. And here you have, let's say, a small overview about the integration in OpenShift UI. And also, we really want Perseus to be GitOps friendly. So it means that regarding Kubernetes, so we have a data model that is really close to Kubernetes objects. And actually, that's also, it was, let's say, a constraint to follow to be able to have a Perseus operator to be able to install dashboards as custom resources. So that's something we provide. And also, we have a feature of, let's say, discovering data sources via Cube, so it could be pods or services. And besides, we are providing software development kits in 2 different technologies to dashboard as code. And we also provide a native CLI to interact with Perseus. And actually, so I'm going fast here, but actually the presentation will focus on these 2 last items. So moving on to dashboard as code with Perseus. So maybe to start with dashboard as code, but maybe it's a concept you are not familiar with. So what is it? So as the names indicate, it's about coding dashboards, of course. But actually, we are talking about a visualization tool here. So you have, let's say, you can edit things on the UI and have, let's say, direct feedback of the changes you are doing. So actually, why would you go through this as code approach? Why would you, let's say, have the pain to do that? So actually, it's all about the problematic, the title of this presentation about the scale. So when you are managing thousands of dashboards, it makes sense to, at some point, rely on an as code approach. So for several reasons. So first, so let's say thanks to the GitOps approach, you leverage things like peer reviewing of changes, version history, etc. And most importantly, you can reuse existing code. So it could be a small, just small things like, I don't know, a given color code that you want to ensure is consistently used across several dashboards, panels, etc. Or to, let's say, reusing an entire dashboard view that, let's say, you want to have different instantiations with just a slight difference. So thanks to this as code approach, you can factorize components any part, any size of part of a dashboard that you want to be able to do that. So it brings several benefits. So it brings reliability. because for instance, so I can speak for my case in Amadeus, we have a command pattern that we have, so it's a big company and there are, let's say, teams that are specialized in a given middleware used by other apps afterwards. And so these guys, they are really the person the most knowledgeable about their middleware and the instrumentation of their middleware. So they know the metrics, etc. So these guys, they will develop components like panels or this kind of thing for dashboard as code. And then the applicative team later in the pipe would import these pieces of code and use them in their own dashboard. So that way, yeah, let's say you're sure what you are using was designed by knowledgeable people, and so that's quite reliable. Also, for sure, when implementing a new dashboard, it's decreased the implementation cost because yeah, you are reusing existing codes, and also it eased the maintenance because well, the day something changes in this let's say code you are reusing, so the people responsible of it would update it, and then on your side you would just let's say update the dependency, and that's it. So about the SDKs, as I was saying, we are providing two different ones. So one in Golang and one in Qlang. So just a brief note about Qlang because you may not be aware about it. It's not that popular yet. So it's actually a templating language. So by templating language, I mean you know, the languages like JSONet or Hem, if you're familiar with. So it's basically languages that in the end generate JSON or YAML output. But this one, contrary to, let's say, the concurrent technologies, it's much more focused towards validation and let's say ensuring that what you are doing meets the constraints of the data model you are targeting. Yeah, and well, other SDKs could come later, but yeah, we are open to contributions here. For now, we are focusing on these two ones. And actually, you could ask why providing two SDKs, why not just a single one? Well, actually, it's because yeah, so as you may be aware, so Golang is a programming language, and as I said, Qlang is a templating language. So they come with, let's say, different approaches and different pros and cons. And it's also that so Golang is a much more established technology. So maybe and because it's a programming language, so for a developer, let's say the ramp up may be easier. You have big ecosystem, so you have integration possibilities. Like for example, we have a demo project where the guy using the Golang SDK integrated the Prometheus library to inherit, let's say, the PromQL validation logic to be able to validate the queries. So it's great. Yeah, it has a better support in your IDE, this kind of stuff. And Qlang on his side, so it's kinda yeah. So yeah, important things like IDE support and dependency management are still, let's say, being worked on. So yeah, for now it's let's say inconvenient, but it's really something getting tackled lately. And besides that, so the advantages of Qlang, it's yeah, as I said regarding validation in general, it's really where it shines. And also, so I didn't talk about it yet, but let's say Perseus is coming with let's say a plugin architecture. So any visualization option, so any type of panel, any data source, and also variable. So as I said, on the things, let's say powering the drop downs that you have at the top of the dashboard. So all these things are plugins. And because we want Perseus to be dynamic, these plugins, their backend data model is not written in compiled static language like Go, but it's written in Qlang. So it means that when doing dashboard as code, for sure you will be able to integrate any kind of plugins. So it could be, let's say, official plugins, base plugins, or external ones that people may provide in the future. You would be able to let's say integrate them and let's say be able to leverage on their data model, on their definition, because it's written in this language. While on the on the Golang side, let's say by default it won't be available. It means that the person developing a plugin would need let's say extra effort to develop a piece of the Golang SDK to have this plugin being supported by the Golang SDK. So yeah, that's the main differences here. And just to show you an example. So let's say how it looks like. So well, don't look deep in the code here. It's just I just wanted to highlight the what I was saying earlier about, let's say, the import and the reuse of existing code. So here, if you look at the import block, so the three first imports are coming from it's basically the SDK, it's the libraries provided by Perseus. And then the two last ones are, let's say, custom libraries that here, for the sake of the example, so it's come from, let's say, my project and let's say the same project where this dashboard is hosted, but as I said, it could be external libraries from other teams. And so here I'm retrieving ready-to-use panels and also variables, and I'm passing them into the, let's say, the relevant parts of the dashboard. And then at the end generates me the final dashboard object in here in JSON output. And as you can see, so from 30 lines of code on the left side, I was able to generate almost 500 long line JSON on the right. So yeah, it's quite convenient when you can reuse things like that. Moving on to the CLI. So yeah, as I said, Perseus provides a native CLI, and it's basically, so it's used for several things, and including things I won't have time to explain today. But let's say there is a whole part of it that is dedicated to dashboard as code, and we will go through the commands just after. So actually, yeah, first one, when you have, let's say you are done, let's say with your dashboard and you want to generate the output, so you have the build command to basically, let's say, compile your dashboard as code to provide to create the final output. So you can actually, let's say, decide between print on std out or to a file, and you can also decide between JSON or YAML format. So, and once you have this final dashboard object, you have several commands that you can do on it. So first you can preview the result. So preview it will basically deploy an ephemeral dashboard to Perseus. So it's basically a classic dashboard just with the time to live. So that's quite convenient here, because when you are developing a dashboard and you want to get some visual feedback, you do this preview command. And once you will be done and deploying the final dashboard, you won't have to care about cleaning up stuff, because it will be taken care by the server here, thanks to this time to live. You have also the diff command so it will compare if you are modifying an existing dashboard, retrieve the existing dashboard to, let's say, compute diff. And then you also the lint command. So this is not specific to dashboard as code. It can lint any kind of resource managed by Perseus. So this is just to ensure it interrogates the server and check with the list of supported plugins, etc. That what, let's say, the dashboard here that you are providing, is it valid or not? And then finally, you can apply the dashboard to deploy it to Perseus. So this CLI, you can use it right away on your local environment, on your laptop. But what you probably want to do is to integrate this in a CI/CD. And so there is a quite, let's say, generic pattern here. So you have your repository with different dashboard as code. You open a pull request on the repository, and opening a pull request will trigger the stages like build, validate, preview, and diff. And once it got reviewed and you're happy with the changes, you merge the pull request and it's getting deployed to Perseus. And here, as I said, so it's really all the main stages here are powered by the CLI. So it means that you can easily integrate that with any kind of CI/CD technology that you like. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I was a bit quick. So yeah, don't hesitate if you're interested in the topic to check the links here. So on the left side, you have really links specific to dashboard as code, to the user guide, and also the doc specific to each SDK. And on the right hand side, you have, let's say, social media links or let's say links about Perseus in general if you're interested in the project. Thank you.